Picture an executive leadership team investing millions into enterprise software and a fleet of new hardware. They cut the ribbon, issue the press release, and announce to the board that the company has officially been modernized. But look closer at the sales floor. The team is still taking orders on paper pads during client meetings, only to return to the office after hours to manually type that same data into their high-end tablets. In the accounting department, the pattern repeats. Staff members print out digital reports from the new system just so they can rekey those exact figures into their own personal spreadsheets. This is digitization. It frames a chaotic manual process inside a digital screen without actually untangling the workflow. Applying technology to a bloated process only increases the speed of waste, allowing a company to execute a failing strategy at a much higher velocity. Survival in a high-speed market requires a shift in focus. Instead of paying to put a digital coat of paint on old habits, businesses must rebuild their operations from the ground up. This rebuild centers on tech as an enabler. This mindset treats IT as the central infrastructure that dictates how a company competes, rather than a backroom department that simply maintains servers. We see this in practice when warehouse sensors predict mechanical failures before they happen, or when real-time tracking provides a transparent view of a product's journey from the shelf to the customer's door. The most difficult part of this transition isn't the software licensing. The true barrier is the mindset of the people expected to use it. When a workforce feels bypassed by change, they often engage in a silent protest. Employees may intentionally feed bad data into a new system to prove to management that the old manual ways were more reliable. This sabotage is driven by the fear of becoming obsolete. Without a clear understanding of why the change matters, the steep learning curve of a new system feels like a threat rather than a tool. A multi-million-dollar technological infrastructure serves no purpose if the human operators are actively working to keep it from functioning. Overcoming this resistance requires leadership to follow 3 specific rules of integration. Rule 1, lead with the why. Instead of teaching button clicks, show the staff how the technology eliminates their manual errors and allows them to stop working unpaid overtime to fix data entries. Then, secure a quick win by piloting the system in one department to create internal demand. Finally, executives must be the primary users. When a CEO uses the digital dashboard, the rest of the company follows the standard. Consider KLE, a major parts distributor that nearly choked on its own growth. They were losing customers because their paper-based orders and blind inventory tracking meant they couldn't even tell a client when a part would arrive. They solved this by connecting sales, warehousing, and purchasing into a single source of truth. Data now flows between departments instantly, with no manual middleman required. The warehouse rebellion ended the moment the staff realized the digital system eliminated manual stock counts. Once the tech helped staff clock out on time, they fully supported the transition. This human-digital alignment led to a 30% drop in inventory holding costs and a supply chain that moved twice as fast as the old manual one. KLE's success came from changing the incentives for their employees, which finally allowed their software investment to yield a return. Before signing off on any new software purchase, leadership should run a diagnostic audit to ensure the organization is ready for it. First, lean the process. Strip away unnecessary approval layers before you digitize them. Second, verify that different software systems can share data seamlessly via API to prevent new silos from forming. Management must be ready to address information monopolies, people who hide data to maintain power, and they must invest in cybersecurity to protect the newly centralized data. In this environment, technology acts as the engine, but the human workforce remains the steering wheel. Creating a foundation of clean, synchronized data is the prerequisite for participating in the next phase of the economy. Only companies with this infrastructure can successfully integrate generative AI to automate complex workflows and process information at a scale manual teams cannot achieve.